Hey guys, right now I'm driving out to the range to do some maintenance and to do a little bit of shooting. As you can tell, I've got a cold. Came back from a class a few days ago and felt a little run down, and I thought it was all the shooting that we were doing. And when you shoot rifles very close to the ground, you're constantly breathing a lot of crap into your respiratory system. And so it ended up developing into a full-on cold, which has not been fun. And so anyways, I've not been out to the range between going out to multiple classes in the last 6 or 7 weeks. I've not been to the range almost in 2 months, something like that. Well, maybe a little bit less, but the point is, I've not been there to do maintenance on the range, so no doubt the grass is probably a good 3 or 4 feet high right now. Anyways, what I wanted to talk with you guys about today is all of the anti-gun legislation that's in front of Congress right now. And I wanted to just give you a brief thought about a couple of things. The first one is that, remember that the Constitution does not give us our rights. Those are natural rights given to us by God. God dictated, well, not dictated, God created us free men and women, and slavery was created by man, and the Constitution was created to codify the Word of God in written form, so as a people we would say, this is who we are, this is what we're about, and this is our God, and He gives us our freedoms. So remember, it doesn't matter how much the Constitution is overrun, nullified, and modified. Your rights, your freedoms come from God. And I know someone's going to say, well, yeah, that's going to be all kinds of different when they come knocking on your door to get your guns. Guys, that moment is only one that you can decide for yourself. Don't bother asking me what my decision is going to be in the comment section, because I'm not going to bother answering you, and I'm not going to bother answering in this video. That's an answer that everyone has to come to on their own in their own time. What I can tell you is this. My wife and I have spent a fair amount of time talking about this, and I'm married to a woman who grew up in a small town in Illinois. One of those types of small towns that you could leave your car windows down and your car door unlocked, and no one would bother your car. She lived in a place where you could go to bed and leave your front door unlocked and nobody would bother you. I grew up in a town where every night I heard gunfire, and it wasn't that far away. And many times when I'd be walking to the library, I would cut through, it was an ABC liquor store. It was in Apopka, Florida. And it was an ABC liquor store on 436. And on the back side of the ABC liquor store was a bar called Blue Jeans. And I'd walk through the parking lot and you'd see blood, glass, and firearms casings on the ground. That was my reality. That's where I grew up. And so because of that, I'm into locked doors, I'm into keeping to myself, I'm into not stirring up trouble with people, and I'm into walking away from problems whenever possible. But over time, my wife has come to realize that the world is not as she imagines it. The world is as it is. And because of that, she is far more open now to the discussions we've had about the state of the world. And of course, if you've been living with your head up and looking around you, in the last couple of years, COVID has really woken a lot of people up to the fact that governments are being tyrannical. And the minions of the governments are the police officers. And I know that at this point in the video, someone's going to run off to the comment section and start punching me in the nose. Oh, you're hating on the cops again. No, I'm not. I'm not hating on the cops. I used to be a cop, and I have friends who are still cops. What I'm saying is, the cops all over the world, not just America, but all over the world, have been helping the tyrants keep a lockdown on the populace. And that's what's so difficult for somebody like me to accept. And it made me realize in these discussions that I've been having with my wife about just where we are as a nation and where we're going, it made me realize that our founding fathers, let me rephrase that, it made me realize why our founding fathers were so adamant about leave us alone. To the government, you protect our borders and we will look out for the interior. Leave us alone. Except now, everything has been reversed. Now, the government is busy watching us, spying on us, controlling us, and ignoring the borders. And it really makes me realize that, number one, there's nothing new under the sun. And wow, man, there's nothing new under the sun. Right now, my wife is reading a book on Martin Luther, and it is a very highly detailed book. And the Martin Luther, I don't mean Martin Luther King, I mean Martin Luther of the Reformation. Everyone thinks that they know Martin Luther. Read the book by Eric Metaxas on Martin Luther, and you'll realize that there's a lot to Martin Luther that we didn't know. Oh, here, I'll give you the most basic one. So he hammers the 95 Theses to the front door of the Wittenberg Church. And everyone thinks that that was his way of saying, boom, you want some of this? But in reality, that was normal, because the doors of the Wittenberg Church were actually the public billboard. That is where you posted things. That is where you posted things to have a cordial and open dialogue and debate with someone. But people like to make it sound as if Martin Luther basically put the 95 Theses on the Wittenberg Church and said, bam, come and get it. That wasn't what he was after. The Catholic Church was after that, but he wasn't after that. He wanted open debate. What he got was death by effigy. In fact, they actually tried to kill him. But that's neither here nor there. The point that I'm getting at is there's so much that we don't know. And as we progress forward in history and prophecy is unraveling at a rapid pace, I said to my wife, did you ever think that it would come down to firearms ownership rights? It's not even firearms ownership, it's self-defense rights. Did you ever think that this would come down to self-defense rights? And she goes, no. In all of the talk of Christianity, modern day Christianity, you never really think that it's going to come down to self-defense rights, which is why I really believe that so many Christians have been bred to be pacifists, have been bred to be liberal-minded. And I don't mean in the true classical sense of liberalism, but I mean in the modern-day libtard liberalism. C.S. Lewis once said, there's great danger in extreme pacifism and also in extreme patriotism. And I really believe that is the case, because you can either have extreme left or you can have extreme right. And we are now looking at the massive polarization of America. Guys, I would love to make sure that this video ends on a high, but this video doesn't have a high note. We are in a crisis in America, and if I didn't think that it would bring retribution on my head, I would start flying a United States flag sticker inverted on my vehicle, because that is where we are. We are a nation in crisis, and it seems that those who are supposed to be for the right, on the right, are siding with the left, which once again goes back to something that I said almost 2 years ago now. There is no right, there is no left. The Democrat Party, the Republican Party, they're all affectations. All there is a uniparty, the cabal. And the cabal is running this world. Forget about America. The cabal is running this world. And at the head of the cabal is Satan himself. You are the prize. The creation of Jesus Christ our Father. You are the prize. God and the devil are battling it out for you. And the powers of evil have a great many humans on this earth who are busy doing their bidding. But you know what? I got news for you. There are way more of God's people on this earth than there are of the devil's people. But God's people are being far too quiet and far too patient and respectful. And I don't know what the answer is, but what I do know is that God's people keep getting pushed and pushed and pushed. And there is going to have to come a time where God's people are going to have to stand up and say, enough is enough. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And it is clearly delineated in the Bible. And to ignore it and think that it doesn't exist is like living in La La Land, which is exactly what we're living in now, bizarro world. So with that, I would say to you, if you are, I will close with this. If you are busy watching what media is serving up to you on a silver platter, you need to reconsider that what is being served up to you is a polished turd. Several of my friends recently have said, hey man, have you seen the new Top Gun movie? And I go, really? You're kidding, right? And I go, first of all, Tom Cruise's movies are funded by China. Provable. Almost everyone in Hollywood has bowed down to the beast power. And to be watching anything that modern day media is offering to you is essentially taking the opiate that they're offering you. Go back to sleep. Plug back into the system. Ignore everything that's going on around you. We'll get them in the midterms. No, we won't. We won't get them in the midterms. You know why? Because the machines are still in place. I think I've officially offended everybody in this video. And on that note, I bid you a wonderful day. God bless you all. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.